Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ronline Report. So happy to have this man here. He was one of my idols in the 90s as a legendary bodybuilder. He went on to become an amazing prep coach known all over the world. You've seen him on a lot of different podcasts. He is the mind all the way from Las Vegas. Please welcome Milos Sarcev. What's up, Mishko?
Ron, how you doing, my man? I like a t-shirt, meathead, right?
Meathead. I'm a meathead.
That's what we are called always, right?
That's our little word. See, we can call each other that. It's okay. That's like that's our M word.
Exactly. But anyway, I've just seen your podcast with Lee Haney, and I just love that man. And I want to, support your Ronline Report now that you're not with Vascular Development. So by all means, anytime you need some update, you know who to call.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, I haven't spoken to you since MD went out of business last November. I think we just did a podcast like a few weeks before that, and this is our first time speaking in a very long time. Yeah. The Samson Dauda thing, that's past history. It's all in the past. I just want to touch on it for a brief second because you spoke with me before we recorded. It's all in confidentiality, but hearing what you told me, a lot of things that you'll never bring to light because you're just not the type of person to put personal information and things like that out there, but you were thrown under the bus. A lot of people are talking a lot of crap about you. Milos, he didn't do that for him. He never could get him in shape, this and that. Knowing what I know now that you told me, I'm actually a little angry. And this isn't directed at Samson. I'm not calling him out or insulting him, but you're a better man than me because I would have put a lot of this stuff out there, especially once people were slandering me, attacking me all over social media. How were you able to keep all that private information to yourself the way you have been?
Well, everything for us is basically private. You just go public if need be. I offer this to Samson, of course. Let's go to any of the podcasts of your choice with Fuad if you want on old school podcasts and everything else, and let's discuss that. But he didn't. He chose not to do it. So I'm not gonna wash your dirty laundry. I'm very disappointed, of course, with everything and how he's handled it. There is so much to say, but I'm just going to keep it professional. I am disappointed as a man that he ended up being, so this is what it is. As far as bodybuilder, I think that he's still Mr. Olympia hopeful, and he has that potential, and he can for sure deliver it. I mean, everything I ever said about his physique, I meant it.
Yeah.
And as the whole world knows, you included, and everybody else, you just need to bring a little bit better conditioning. And for whatever reason, my fault or a mutual fault or his fault, we didn't deliver it. So that's how it is. The problematic thing is that he did send some text that I read to many other people, and some things there was quite damaging, and that's what I called him on. And so if he's ever willing to discuss this publicly, I would be so happy to. Otherwise, I'm not going to say anything.
Fair enough. I mean, I just want people to know that you were thrown under the bus in this situation. You were painted out to be a coach who didn't really do enough for a client. And it's just not the case. It's not the truth. And I just want people to know that because I've known you forever. And I don't like to see you unfairly portrayed that way. That's not you. You're the most, you're so deep. I've sat next to you at many shows. You're like so nervous for your clients. You're so concerned. The investment, the level of emotional investment you have in your clients is unquestionable. You care more about them winning sometimes than they do. So
listen, I competed, as you know, 110 times, 72 days. I was never nervous about myself, and I'm always nervous about my guys. Of course, you have to be calm, especially in front of them, but there is always that, on the back of your mind, and you just want to make sure and these kind of things. But I say I didn't do enough. I mean, not enough, like 13 shows together. In every show, he's on the money, making money, increasing popularity and status to the point of making tons of money, being top 3 Olympia, Empro Classic champion by 2 times second. I mean, going to support him in all the shows, at my expense, they have to say. Anyway, so I don't know what else is, as we talk about staying awake until 1 o'clock in the morning to check on him during the prep, and staying up all night for the European shows, all night, not sleeping a minute, and then reading it that I didn't even prepare him for a couple of shows. So there's so many of those disappointing things, right? Yeah. That I don't want to be the only one speaking. So if he's ever up for it, I would be loving that.
Okay. Last thing I'll ask, he's going to train for the show in Kuwait at Oxygen Gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I said it's just prepping in a different place. I don't know if it's going to make any difference for the better, worse, no difference at all. You've been to Kuwait.
No, I've never been to Kuwait.
Oh, you never been to Kuwait? Jeez,
no, I've never been to Kuwait. But so put it this way, Samson is very well situated where he is. Obviously, he's working. Dorian was in England and didn't want to come anywhere else. He had his temple gym, and he produced 6 Olympia titles. Everybody's seeing Samson is improving constantly, continuously. He's improving now. I mean, I'm quite impressed what he looks like. But at Oxygen, that's like a training camp, right? You go there and maybe you reduce other disruptions, and maybe, you have that little extra push. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's quite a good idea. It's just like, can you handle it? I do remember when Regan was telling me when he went there, he couldn't handle it. It was too much for him, and he decided to come back.
So it's a different situation because Regan was being coached by the people at Oxygen. I believe Samson is still going to be relying on his wife to coach him, and really they're just going to be pushing him as training him in the gym, and they'll be providing his food to her specs and everything, to his specifications. But it's really just training in another place. It's not like they're going to be coaching, because that was, as soon as people heard Samson's going to Kuwait, they're like, oh no, well, Kuwait likes to bring in guys big and full, and that's not the place for him because he needs condition, and now he's doomed. I personally think they're probably going to pay him. Bud Air is probably paying him a good amount of money just to represent Oxygen Gym at the Olympia. So he's going to train for the Olympia anyway. Why not get paid for it?
Of course, it makes complete sense. But Ron, this is how it is. Okay, if you and I are training for a contest, and you train in your gym and I'm training here, or then we pair up. Now, if we pair up, I would try to beat you in every training, and you're going to try to hang on. And now you have 3-4 more people watching, and they're gonna be pushing us extra. It can only be a good thing. I've never been to Kuwait. I don't know Oxygen Gym. I'm gonna probably go to Abu Dhabi one in July. Hey, I think it's a very, very good idea. And listen, maybe Samson need this extra push, and maybe Nathan Diasha is going to be there, or Rubiel, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's
Brandon will be there.
Brandon's going to be there. In all the men, there is this little bit extra competitiveness.
Yeah. I want people to know, because they don't know their history, this whole idea of a training camp, you started that back in the 90s at Coliseum Gym in Fullerton, California.
Yeah.
You had all these guys coming from all over the world. They would stay at, I think it was like a Residence Inn across the street. They would be there for weeks, months at a time, training with you and putting on. Your specialty was getting these guys mass. You put a lot of size on a lot of people, like Wolf, Hide, Dennis James. I mean, there were a couple dozen of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
and that was the best times of my lives, right? Because look, those guys go to Residence Inn or Fairfield Inn. We have 2. I actually had a deal with the hotels, so I could have 2 rooms free in both of them, so I can invite my guys and have them stay there for free, which was beautiful, right? All they have to, and it's literally they can walk across the street. They don't need to rent a car. So imagine if you are there for like 2 to 4 weeks, and some even longer, and I can train them twice a day.
Yeah.
I know that we talk about this. It's overtraining and all that stuff, but listen, you're a pro bodybuilder. You can stay home, watch TV, or stare at the wall, or you can be there, so I can see you pose after every workout. I can see you train. We can do extra abs. We can touch up on any body part that needs to be, improved, stuff like that.
Yeah, your favorite, the movie quote that you bring up all the time. I love it. It's about overtraining because people are afraid to train, and you say, "Spartans, what is your profession?"
I mean, so listen, I have right now pro from Iraq. I posted it a couple of days ago. I don't know if you've seen on my Instagram. Very good physique, Ali Salim, and with everybody that I start with, it says, "Send me what you're doing now," and then I work with that. He trains 6 days a week, twice a day.
Wow! How many times a day?
6 days a week, twice a day. Yeah. Wow. So he has a kind of program that we used to do. A little bit there to the right. No. That's my classic. Classic.
This guy? No, that's you.
Super white guy to the right.
Okay, so this is Ali Salem.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's 212.
No. He is big. He's open.
Oh, he's open. Oh, he's taller than I think he is.
Yeah.
This is Iraq. Wow. The Middle East is just pumping out some amazing talent.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
So 6 days a week.
So, I mean, does he...
The thing is, so as you can imagine, if I do your diet, you got to give me your diet first. Oh, here's, Behrooz.
Yeah, we got to check out this guy because that's what I want to talk about next because this is coming up in 2 weeks, the Empro Classic in Spain. The heavy favorites are William Bonac, and because he's a former Arnold Classic 2-time champ, Olympia runner-up. Michael Creezo, very good. But, geez, Behrooz, anybody's writing this guy off is nuts. Geez, this was this earlier this week, this stuff?
Yeah, like a few days ago.
Yeah. I mean, I want to actually go to his Instagram because, when people say, Milos doesn't get guys in shape, well, have you seen Behrooz Tabani, like ever? So this was Romania, the show we were just talking about last year's Romania.
Yeah.
And even size-wise, Samson is 300 pounds. What's Behrooz, about 240?
No, he's 120 kilos, 265.
So he's a big dude. I mean, size-wise, he's not being blown away by Nathan, by Samson at all. Let's see. There's the back shot. There he is with Presti. Yeah, and look at the condition. This isn't the greatest picture, but always dialed in. There's a great comparison to back shots. The only unfortunate thing is he's never been able to get a visa to the USA so far. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. Even right now, if you ask me, what are the prognosis and chances for this year? We didn't move in the right direction. So he applied 2 years ago, and when the application is submitted, they have to respond. So you cannot submit another one. So we tried this anyway. So he went, and they said, like, "What are you doing here? Your application is, still in process." And it's still in process.
So what helps Hadi get in here is that he technically is an employee of a United States-based company, Evogen Nutrition.
Yeah.
So if Behrooz had a U.S. supplement company sponsor, I think that would be the missing piece of the puzzle for him as far as being able to get a visa here. It would be technically a work visa.
Yeah. I mean, I hope to God something's going to happen this year. But first, we have to worry about upcoming shows. He's doing Empro in Spain, then Italy, and then Dubai.
Yeah. I mean, Italy, the front runners are also, we got Hunter Labrada's doing the Italy show, and Nathan. I think Nathan's probably doing every show over there.
Yeah, Nathan is in very good condition. He is a seasoned veteran that knows how to peak week after week. So for sure. I mean, I can't even understand why they're not doing every show. There is Toronto in 2 days, So if Behrooz could come to Canada, of course I will have him compete. For you to understand, Behrooz was preparing with me for 6 shows that we were waiting for a visa, and that never happened.
Wow.
So your contest ready. You finish your job, and then you cannot compete.
That's awful.
So for bodybuilders around the world that have a commodity and they can travel and earn their living, just think if you're in a situation like this, you do your job, you're ready, you can compete, and then, oh, sorry.
I mean, I think some bodybuilders got a taste of that during the COVID 2020 and 2021 when shows were being canceled.
Yeah.
But this poor guy, this isn't, a pandemic stopping him. This is really just politics, because Iran has bad relations with a lot of countries. It's not his fault. It's got nothing to do with him. He's just an athlete trying to do his job and trying to be the best.
I mean, look at that physique. We talk about hashtag bodybuilding. I mean, structure, shape, conditioning, fullness, small waist, flat abs, striation and punctuation, especially when he turns around on the back. I mean, that's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Again, people say Milos doesn't get people in condition. This guy is peeled out of his skull every time he steps on stage.
Well, listen, again, I think we discussed, Giles, you and myself, about Arnold Classic, that Andrew Jack was third and
Nick Walker was second. Yeah.
And I said, like, listen, the presentation and combination of everything is there. Samson needed to establish himself as a front runner, and we created that size. Think of Samson 2 years before that, when he didn't have that, nice shape. He still needs to be dramatically wider, more shoulders, more back, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And when all this came about, then his shape really jumped at you.
Yeah.
And then it was, okay, you bring that conditioning. I was like, okay, could you go further? Yes, you could. But I was, okay, you could maybe lose that pop. And then what? And he would lose the pop to try to be, more shredded. And then there comes Nick Walker, who was top 3 Olympia months earlier.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Jack, that we know, he actually has a wider structure than Samson.
Yeah.
So risking to go too far there, it was not a good call. But look at that. That was the last. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This guy should be in the Olympia. He should be in the Arnold Classic every year. It's awful to me that no one has seen him on Olympia stage yet or an Arnold Classic stage yet.
Yeah. So you mentioned Creezo, of course. Creezo is tremendous, and William Bonac, all the respect. It looks like William Bonac is getting in the best shape of his life.
Yeah, I think he needed the break. The break he's one of those guys where it did him a world of good.
When he won that Boston show, and I was there backstage with Regan, and I was really admiring that density. It's just like, that doesn't come overnight or over 5 years. It comes from a lifetime of training. But I still think that Behrooz have a dramatically better structure and shape. That he can. Yeah,
that's old. That's old.
Really?
That was an old video. This is current.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's tough to beat, man. He's tough.
Yeah, he can be beaten on a V-taper, X-frame shape. That but muscle and conditioning and
yeah, it's no joke. I mean, you don't win the Arnold twice. You don't take second at the Olympia unless you're just
exactly.
You're right there. He's
going into the show. He would probably be for sure first favorite.
Yeah,
and
let's look at Creezo real quick. What the heck? I'm just curious. I actually haven't been following Creezo for a few weeks now.
Creezo texted me when I posted the little posting video of him and Behrooz from whatever show. There was FIBO. And then, I see you guys in Spain. That's the way he has to think, that he has a chance of winning. But so do we have a chance. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, if he stays full, when I've seen him, when he's flat, it's just things don't pop on him. When he's full, it's a whole different body.
Olympia, he was so flat, he was so conditioned, but then it was not Michael Creezo's body, right? At Prague show, he filled up. Yeah, but you see, when you really dissect it, that frontal biceps, I said that in front of your eyes, it looked like Photoshop is happening in front of you. But I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating.
Because his head is so small. He's got a little tiny head.
Yeah, cover the head anyway. You look at those arms, too. It's crazy arms. And then that density that he has, the most muscular is crazy. Yeah, but I do think that Behrooz could, overpower him in overall bodybuilding sense and beat him. Yeah.
So I want to get, I know by the time this airs, probably the show will be either happening or over, but Quinton Eriya is a guy who I see as being in a position where Samson was a few years ago, where the shape, the structure, everything is there. He just needs to fill out this tall frame with the long limbs. So he did New York Pro. I was there a couple weeks ago. He came in very flat. It was his first prep with Matt Jansen. We know Matt is an amazing coach. He's prepped Nick Walker for every single show. His Arnold win, his Olympia third place. Sean Clarita prepped him for his 212 Olympia. Matt's a great coach. I don't think we need to say that anymore. Absolutely. But after one show, he announced not going to be working with him anymore. I'm going to do it on my own. He's at least going to do Toronto on his own before possibly looking into a different coach. So he posted this out: 5 days out of New York Pro versus 5 days out of Toronto, 10 pounds fuller. What kind of potential do you see with this guy?
He looks even more. I mean, everybody knows that Quinton has probably one of the best, if not the best, structure in bodybuilding. I mean, fill that up maximally without ruining the lines, and you have a Mr. Olympia waiting to happen. I mean, for him and Regan, I believe they have the structure, the God-given structure. Wide shoulders, small waist, and everything. So Quinton actually was kind of bummed at me, probably, that I didn't see him winning New York, or I didn't even put him like in top 3 in my predictions. And so, what did you see it? So I said, like, respectfully, I mean, you have that great structure, but all these update photos, you could see that he's scaling down, chasing the condition, and chasing condition at whatever expense. You cannot do this at expenses of looking big enough to be called open bodybuilder. He was pretty much going into the classic look, like, oh, that's not enough muscle to stand next to Nick Walker, next to Martin Fitzwater that is thick and looks like an open bodybuilder, like beef stew, right? These kind of things. I love his shape completely. So if you just analyze that aspect of dryness and how lean he was, you're conditioned, check mark. Well, no, that is check, but that fullness and then illusion, that you could create with little expense on the dryness and little expense there, which we did with Samson, for example, in a few shows. Okay. No, nobody discussed, well, he could have been a little bit drier. Okay. Okay. But I think that's what Quinton needs to bring in Toronto. I still think he has a legitimate chance to win. He needs to be full. I don't necessarily suggest, go for a crazy carb load and then spill over. But those pictures that you just showed me, that's like so much more impressive. I mean, and if you look like that, he could have easily be contending for top 3. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, I feel like it's obviously he can do, it's his career, his body. He's got to make his own decisions, but it seems like to me he gave up on Matt too soon. One show. Matt's very good at what he does, just like you are, just like Chad, Hani, you're all elite. You've done this with thousands of people over the course of your coaching careers. I'm sure he would have figured out whatever they did, not necessarily wrong, but what they could have done differently, and he would have adjusted for Quinton to come in fuller for Toronto. And I don't know why he chose to get rid of him so quickly rather than give him one more chance to see what he could do.
I mean, that's tough. I don't want to say. Look, I'm not coaching because I need money to support my living and all that stuff. I'm coaching because I love that. I'm a passionate bodybuilder. I've been there, done that, and I like to help. I was helping gazillion guys for free.
Yeah,
and then of course, now as Charles Poliquin would say, "Hey, repeat after me." I know Milos will respect my time and my worth and my expertise. I'm going to charge for my services. So unfortunately, a lot of bodybuilders, don't look at that way, and they forget to pay. To clearly establish what they're supposed to be paying. But so I coach because I love it, but it's becoming that a question to me right now, that how much I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so with Quinton, the last thing I want to say is, and not just because I'm talking to you right now, but I've been saying the one thing that this guy needs is size, and the one person I've seen most successfully add quality mass to people without blowing out their waist or anything is you. I just think, I think it would be a perfect fit to take him to that next level, because, 4 or 5 years ago, nobody was saying Samson Dauda, top 5 in Olympia. Samson Dauda win the Arnold Classic? No way. That guy's never going to be big enough. He's too lanky. He's too tall. His arms and legs are too long. Forget it. And here we are today, 2024. He's done all of. He's been third at the Olympia. He's won the Arnold Classic. Took second to Hadi Choopan, for God's sake, at the last Arnold Classic. I don't know if he's reached out to you. You're not going to chase after people. I know that's not your style.
No, I never did this ever in my life. So some people accuse me of that. Like I never approach anybody to coach them. No way. I give the compliments and all that stuff. Of course, look, how can you love bodybuilding and not love Quinton's physique? This is impossible. I mean, even 3 years ago, first time when I saw him, I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Him taking more than a year off, I don't know, year and a half off. I really thought that he's going to put that size. And initially, it kind of looked like he was going in that direction. But if you really follow all these updates, it's like, oh my God, he's becoming catabolic. And once you become catabolic, it's very hard to stop it and get out of it within weeks. It takes a little bit longer. I mean, it looks like now his body is somewhat recovered. But then again, it's only 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to find out Sunday what he looks like in Toronto. So, So last couple of things I want to talk to you about. The Mr. This isn't generalities. We both saw Lee Haney win 8 Olympias in a row. We saw Ronnie win 8 in a row. We saw Dorian 6 in a row. Phil Heath 7 in a row. But in the last 7 years, we've seen 6 different Mr. Olympias. Do you think we're ever going to see an era like that again, where an athlete is that dominant to hold on to the title for 7, 8 years or even more?
It's possible, but Ron, okay, I never discuss this, so you're a perfect person to discuss. Let's analyze, for example, Camille Levroni, Flex Wheeler, and Sean Ray, and throw in Chris Cormier there too. Okay, so now we have these 4 guys. Can any of those guys be Mr. Olympias?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, at the time, right? But they're all competing in the same show. And somebody has to win, somebody has to, and then, many like you and Giles at Arnold Classic 2023. So Andrew Jack may be winning. Okay. Yeah, listen.
Giles did. I never did. Giles did.
Okay. So, but anyway, there are some people who saw Nick Walker winning. And I saw Samson winning. There's many times possible, multiple winners, but judges have to choose one. And when there's not unanimous call from the judges, that's qualified judges. Some judges actually saw somebody else winning, like Derek and Hadi, even Samson. If you remember prejudging at Olympia, there was 3 ways. Like, some see any of those guys winning.
Yep.
Okay. But then one guy win and now, he's so dominant. It's not. It's like so close.
Yeah.
So could Derek won his first Olympia 2022? Could he was a shocker. Yep. Okay. Hadi won, I think, deservedly. Could Hadi won last year?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
It's not like a cakewalk. Now, are those two, Derek and Hadi, like so much ahead of anybody else? No, Samson is right there.
Yeah.
And Samson has actually what I think more, beauty and wow to his physique, right?
Yeah.
Can Andrew Jack close in? Yeah, and if he puts more size, yes. Could many other guys? Yeah. So, but then again, is Derek great? Absolutely. I mean, uh, uh, Tarek called me the other day to ask me about what I think of Derek. I said, give me 3 reasons why he won Miss Olympia. I said, look, and I didn't know that Derek was right next to him. I could have assumed. I said, like, perfect structure, perfect shape. I mean, and then pound for pound, he's big. Pound for pound, he is so wide and thick and everything else. Like, Jesus. Before, legs were kind of light. Now his legs look freaky. So it's very hard to pick him apart. He's not conditioned and dense enough, his whole upper body from the front, and that's where the Hadi can really shine and take over. That ab shot, as well, which is discussion that mine as well. Now that I have you here, they all criticize me. I'm criticizing vacuum. Like, no, hold on. Vacuum used for a front relax, for a front double biceps, when it looks good, yeah, by all means, use it.
Yeah.
It's not called to show your abs.
Right.
But vacuum used in abdominals and thighs pose, when you already shown 3 times vacuum, vacuum relax, vacuum last spread, vacuum front double biceps, and now you're still vacuuming ab shut. It's called abdominals and thighs. Show me your abdominals, and you're not doing it, right? So people are like, all over me, no, but that looks good. It doesn't matter that it looks good. It looks good when you don't call for the abs. Imagine not showing the biceps when they call front double biceps. Or, chest when you're doing it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And in Classic, they don't seem to call the guys out on that. They can choose to either hit a traditional abdominal thigh, or they hit a vacuum, and no one ever says, no, you have to show your abs in Classic.
This is what I disagree with. The Palamanian did say officially that you can use any of 3 abdominal poses, like vacuum, traditional, and then side. I think that abdominals should be shown. So I did mention to Derek. He posted ab shot a few days ago, and I commend him for it. Look at those perfectly chiseled deep abs, flat stomach. I mean, don't show just a microsecond. Look at his video. He would show the abs for a microsecond and then pull the vacuum.
Yeah.
Now, does he look good in vacuum? Yes. If I'm his coach, would I say do it? Yes, but first respect the sport and the judges and the called pose, show the abs, and then pull the vacuum, afterwards.
Okay. Final question for you is a request from Big Mike Cox. I think you know Mike. You've met him before.
Yes. Yes.
So this is going back to the 1997 Mr. Olympia contest in Long Beach.
Yes.
You were in the top 10 in that show.
Yes.
So this was a strange occurrence at the contest. The top 3 didn't change. It was Dorian, Nasser, and Sean, 1, 2, 3. But
the Kevin Lee and Paul Dillette changed.
So at the show, at the end of the night, it was announced Paul Dillette in 4th place, Lee Priest in 5th place, Kevin Leveroni in 6th place. Yeah. You guys were at the banquet a couple hours later.
Yes.
And you were informed that, by the way, guys, it's different now. Now it's Kevin Leveroni in 4th, Paul Dillette in 5th, and Lee Priest down in 6th. Was it ever explained to you why the placings were changed like that?
Yeah, miscalculation of the judging score sheets.
Was it like quantum physics math? Come on.
Well, listen. Now that okay, I've never been politically correct, so I'm
No.
going to say it anyway. Yeah, there would quite often be adjustments of the scores in by Wayne D'Amelia. I can say it because I witnessed it
Yeah.
a few times. So judges called it 456, and then we go and having a dinner, and I I remember Paul is like, what do you mean? Especially Lee Priest. Like imagine being a Lee Priest. But hey,
Yeah.
I mean, they pulled that off. I mean, of course, if you ask me, what do I suspect? You know, you don't make that mistake. I mean, you're doing Mr. Olympia judges score sheet, and you're gonna have to calculate to call it, and then sorry. However, it did happen to me in Germany in '98. I was called top five, and they didn't to call out guys. First, we didn't know, so they're gonna call top five, and they called me and not Chris Cormier. And I came on the stage and said, "Oh no, sorry, it was a mistake." It's Chris.
Wow.
So I had to go backstage, and that sucks.
Oof, that's
I
horrible.
should have refused. I should have stayed there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it happened a few times, but that was the biggest one.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's happened. It happens a lot. It's they're trying to get things done quickly, and they'll do like a call. I've seen like first call out, and then they look down at their notes and they say, "Oh, sorry, number 4, get back in line." The guy's like, "Ah, I thought I was first call out. I'm not."
Let me just continue on that 97. 97, we went to European Grand Prix Tour, and the last show, like 2 weeks after the Olympia, was Russia, and the same thing happened. Wayne had the score sheets, and he called whatever he called, and I was not in the top 6. Okay, and I was in all favorable comparisons with Ronnie, with Nasser, with Paul Dillette. Right, I was there.
Yeah.
So after the show, I was not top 6. I was there with Nasser, and Russian judges came to me and said, "How is this possible?" They all had me in top 6. So I went to Wayne and said, like, "Oh, Wayne, where did I place?" So he goes 7th. I say, "Can I see your score sheets?" He says, "No, you'll see it tomorrow." I said, "The judges are here. they're saying that I am." Anyway, that conversation was over. So that should maybe explain to you a little bit how that works.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you and I both laugh when we hear people complain about the judging today. Oh, the judging's political. It's not fair. I'm like, no. You guys should have been around like 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so much better now. So much better now. You have no idea.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Plus, okay, because now the washing a dirty laundry from back in the day. So Wayne was the guy with that much power that, okay, he would go with a microphone to each judge. So he would come to you, Mr. Ron Harris, who would you like to see? And, you would say 3 guys. He says, you can't make that comparison. Next one. And I know that because like a German judge at the 94 European Grand Prix Tour told me, like, Milos, I don't understand. I asked for comparison, you, Porter Cochal, and Paul Dillette, 94 Olympia. They were 4th and 5th, and I didn't make a top 10.
Yeah.
And he says, you can't make that comparison. Then we go to Europe, and I beat Porter in every show in Europe, every Italy, Spain, England, whatever, right? But here at Olympia, I wasn't, put next to him. So think about, why would you not be put next to them? Because you might be dangerous. And this is also for some of the people that sometimes question, those kind of things did happen. Nowadays, however, I think the chance are given. It's now 6 guys go there and mix and match. And I mean, all bodybuilders are asking for is chance to compete. Let me stand there. I can be dead last, but let me have my chance. Right. And all the audience wants to see is also giving a chance to fight. Yeah. Imagine those European guys back in the day, like Pavel Yablonitsky, for example, who was unbelievable competitor, so underrated. had to pay a lot of money that he didn't make. That there was no sponsor, back in there was Czechoslovakia back in the day.
Republic, yeah.
And then he invests all this money to go there, and somebody flies with him, and then he doesn't even get the comparisons.
Yeah,
how discouraging that is.
yeah.
Orvat back in the day, Jan Jur. I mean, I know them personally. Those guys that they give up competing because not just that they didn't place, they didn't even have a chance to show anything.
Yeah. No, I remember being at those shows and seeing guys like that on the sidelines and going, why aren't they looking at that guy or that guy or that guy?
Yeah.
I didn't know who they were, but I said, I don't know this guy, but he looks damn good.
So you see, I completely forgot to answer your question. You said, like, would it be dominance? So I'll tell you this. Lee Haney dominated. There was never a question if he ever should have won. They say maybe 1990.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, he did not dominate to the point, like, okay, if you watch UFC, John Jones was dominating everybody like crazy. And then last couple of fights, Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, he didn't, but he still won. Okay. Now, did Ronnie deserve all his victories? Ooh, there's a couple of them. Did Dorian? Ooh, there's a couple of them, right? Jay, I said about this 2007, but it's he probably won anyway.
Yeah.
Phil Heath, I think he deserved all of them.
Yeah,
he
did.
Yeah, so coming into this era, I mentioned this, and I'm going to say this one more time. Hadi Chapman could have won all the Olympias he ever entered.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about it. Yeah, if you really think about it. That first year, it was just okay, not comprehensible that this 212 Iranian guy can come and win open, right? So he plays third behind Brandon and William, but the same Brandon and William, compared him over and over with Hadi on the basis that Hadi is winning now. He could have won that time too. Crazy conditioning, enough mass, all the. If that was considered, he could have.
Yeah.
Then 2020, when Rami was at his best, if you remember, he flew in day before, and in the prejudging, he didn't look as good.
He was watery.
At the finals, every judge gave him second place.
Yep.
Okay, and second place just because there would be also not accepted. How can guy that was placing fourth, fifth, all of a sudden win?
Right.
But if he was given that chance if he looked the same in 2020 prejudging, anyway, and then all the other shows, I think that Hadi had that.
So he could have like 5 Olympia titles by now.
Yeah, it's not out of question.
Yeah, well, good answer. Good answer. Well, man, I know you're a busy man. You got clients all over the world in 30 different time zones. So I very much appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today, Milos.
Anytime.
Yes. One of the best in the world. And I'm glad, you didn't shy away. You never shy away from any questions. You're like that.
No, yeah, I just don't go deep in. Some things I better not said.
Gotcha. No,
that's one thing that you started with. Like I said, I'm good where I'm at. Even though it's burning inside me that was not right.
Cool. Well, you handled it very professionally with diplomacy, like you always do. That's just who you are, and I appreciate you for being the man of integrity that you are, Milos.
Listen, Ron, I wish you all the luck with your podcast, and
thank you so much.
You should keep asking those hard questions, everybody. Right? I like that. Don't be just like. Let's talk about what is expected. Be unexpected.
Thank you. I listen and take all good constructive criticism because it's a hard world out there in podcasting, as you know, and I'm trying to make it. So
let me ask you that question back. Do you think anybody's going to dominate?
No, I don't. I don't. Unless there's somebody that we don't know about yet.
But just think about this. When Arnold won 7, did anybody think anybody can even come close? That was like, that's the time when I started. Okay, that's forever and ever. Nobody's going, and here comes Lee Haney. Mm-hmm. Lee Haney retired at the age of 31.
That's right.
Imagine if he continued, right? imagine if Ronnie actually didn't have the injuries.
Imagine if Dorian never got injured.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he would have been able to keep up with Ronnie. I think Ronnie would have taken him out after a couple of. Yeah, we'll never know. But I mean, that's just exciting.
We never know. Yeah,
you know, that's exciting. There's new people come and go, and there's people out there right now that you and I don't know anything about. That within a couple of years they're going to be awesome, and they're just like starting out somewhere right now. You know. Anyway, that's it, guys. If you like the channel, please subscribe, like, share, ring the notification bell. Follow Milos Sarcev on his Instagram, which is. Come on, guys, I can do this. Milos, it's just your name, Milos Sarcev. That's easy. Yes. And of course, his YouTube channel, the same name, Milos Sarcev. And if you want to repost this, when I post it, be my guest. I would love it.
You know what happened? I was reposting all my podcasts. That I was somewhere else, and YouTube, demonetized me. And I said, "Hey, man, this is me. I'm just putting for my. I don't do it right away. I let, as you know." I let for a while that you guys get the traction, and then I just put it there because I like to find it. Sometimes it's easy to find it.
Sure. Yeah. YouTube's. I'm learning a lot about YouTube lately, and what they do and don't allow. It's very intricate. It's very tricky. Yeah. So cool, man. Well, that's it. Thank you so much, Milos. Appreciate you taking the time. Always a pleasure talking to you. You are the mind, and I'm glad you're such a vital part of this sport. Many years after stepping away from the stage. We need the true veterans like you, who have all that experience and insight to keep things interesting around. So that's all. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with Milos Sarcev. We'll see you next.